Welcome back to day 2 of our 10-day challenge. Woohoo!
Good morning. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. So we're just going to make sure that we can find
There,
you.
no, right here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so we're ready to read your comments.
Let us know. Say hello if you're here. Tell us that you're here. If you watch the replay, put hashtag replay on so we know that you're watching.
Yeah, that's right. We want to know who's here. We want to know how you did yesterday on our first day of the challenge. And I know many of you did really well. Hello. Thanks for being here.
Mirinda. I think I know another Mirinda.
So welcome back to day 2. And wow, smoothie day is always like a pretty good
start.
Yeah, it's a jump start. It's a pretty good day because we're like all gung-ho to get into this, to jumpstart our weight loss. And it's day 2. Sometimes day 2 is like, oh, you're just ravenous because you didn't really eat yesterday.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling today?
Yeah, let us know. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a good sleep. So yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Nice. Mirinda, I did amazing.
Yay,
awesome.
Mirinda.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling, right? Like you're proud of yourself. You did it. You made it through all these feelings. But what we want to talk about is how aware you were yesterday of certain things. Like, did you miss chewing?
Yeah.
Did you accidentally put something into your mouth because you forgot you were doing smoothie day? Did you drink enough water?
Yeah.
There's all
That's
these
the one
things.
that always gets me, accidentally putting something in my mouth and then it's like, oh, oops. Can I still
right.
spit it out? Oh dear.
On my smoothie day, my son wanted to go out and celebrate something. And I said, well, okay, I'll come along and have a drink. And that was really hard, watching everyone eat around me. And so here's what I did. I had a tonic water with lime. And I did fine. But it's like, wow, I'm missing out. I had all these thoughts coming into my head. But I just no, I got to do this. I got to walk the talk, right? Like if we say we're going to do something, we need to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually was not able to do smoothie day yesterday because we had company planned coming for dinner for like weeks already.
Yeah.
So,
So when we decided to start on the 15th, we said, oh, well, some people start on day 2.
yeah. And so I just decided I was not going to do the smoothie day, but I was going to do portion control and just following the lifestyle that I have made for myself, because that's what allowed me to lose 150 pounds and keep it off. Right. And so
if you didn't do smoothie day, do not beat yourself up.
Yeah.
If you ate clean, if you ate well, if you stayed on your plan, if you had food that fueled your body well, then be proud of yourself.
I want to say, even if you kind of screwed it up yesterday, but you learned something from it and you became more aware, be proud of yourself for that, right? And then get back up today and pick yourself up, dust off the dust.
That's right.
And carry on, right? We all have good days, we all have bad days, and we're no different.
No.
When you're on maintenance like we are, it's no different. We still have to continue to be aware, to be diligent, and to make good decisions, because living at a healthy weight does not just happen for like 99% of the world. Some people have those, we maybe call them lucky genes, I don't know, where they don't ever really have to worry about their weight, but that doesn't mean they're healthy.
No, it
right?
certainly doesn't.
And most of those people, it will eventually catch up to them,
Yeah,
right? At some point.
We know that eating trash causes inflammation. It causes, harmful things in our body. And we don't want to do that because we want to treat our body like a temple.
Yeah. And I was even meaning it like, the people that don't ever seem like they gain weight, eventually that usually catches up with them too as they get older, right? Like, or if you know men in your life who seem like they can just eat anything, all of a sudden they turn 50 and it's like, oh, because I can't eat 10 cookies anymore and still be thin as a rail, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, anyways.
So that just reminds me of like when you said, if you did eat something you shouldn't, don't just ditch it all. I saw a little reel, but it just reminded me of that. And pretend that you're building a tower with your grandkids. Like I do that a lot. So you're building and you're building and you're putting these blocks up onto this tower, and it's getting really high, and it's, exciting. And then you get to the top and you put the top one on, and poof, the whole thing goes flying and you have nothing left. That's sometimes how we envision every decision we make. We make these good decisions and we build on the building blocks. Yay, we did well for breakfast. We did well for lunch. We did well for our snack. We did well for dinner. We did well for no eating after dinner. And then before bed, we eat something because we just cave. And the whole tower just goes, and we ditch it all. Don't do that. Don't ditch it all. It's one little piece of the pie. It's one little block.
Yeah.
But look at all the good things that you built up for yourself during the day. There's way more good. Like 99 good blocks that you did. 99 good decisions and only one bad one.
Yeah, and do you really want to build the whole tower from scratch again?
Don't focus on the one little mishap. We have to focus on all the good things that we did.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. We can get so into the ditch it all mindset, even on the first day, right?
Yeah, like we were preparing for weeks, right? Like talking about this for a couple of weeks. We're going to start on the 15th. We're going to start on the 15th. And I know, Michelle, if you're watching, Michelle said, I'm going to start on the 15th. And then boom, I can't start on the 15th. But she's not ditching it all. So way to go, Michelle, because you don't want to just ditch it all. She said, no, I'm going to do a smoothie for supper, and then I'm going to do smoothie day the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Or like for me, right? I've had this plan to have company for dinner yesterday evening for like weeks already. And so it was like, well, what am I going to do? And it's like, you don't have to do a smoothie day to lose weight, right? Like that's not like a mandatory part of losing weight. And, in fact, even when I was in weight loss mode with our 10-day plan, I did some smoothie days, but I didn't do smoothie days that terribly often because I find them very challenging with my small kids because my kids are like busy central, man.
Yeah, like over the top busy.
Yeah, like
she needs a lot of energy to look after her children.
Yeah, and so you don't have to, don't let it be an excuse. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
We get into our heads and make every excuse in the books why we can't do it. It's not going to work for us. It's not going to work for me. I can't do it at this time. There is no time. There is no reason to not treat your body well. There's no reason ever to overindulge. There's no reason that is valid enough for us to continue putting trash into our bodies all day, every day. There's no reason good enough for that.
No.
And that doesn't mean that, you're never going to have a burger and fries again or a milkshake or a chocolate bar. We know that those things are still going to be part of our lives to some degree. So having one, that's okay, right? That's what we call moderation or portion control or living the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse for us to just continue on in our bad, unhealthy patterns. So why do we do that? It reminds me of that verse where Paul's talking about, I can't remember the reference, but why do we do what we know we shouldn't do? Why do we do what we know don't want to do?
That's right. Yeah. Why do we do the things we don't want to do?
It's frustrating.
It is.
Right?
And we're human, so we do it. But that's where we have to catch ourselves. That's where we have to become aware.
And that's where we have to, if you're falling down that spiral into one of those unhealthy patterns, grab on and hold a branch. Grab a branch on your way down and pull yourself back up. Don't let it take you all the way down to the place where you're in desperation mode, in defeat, because
just don't do it.
Just don't.
In fact, go buy an olive branch. That might be a really good visual for you to hang on to, because we just have to keep on keeping on. We have to get up again, just like little children who fall, they fall and they fall when they're learning to walk, and they never stop trying to get up again. They always get up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Joan. Hi, Terry. I actually think, not to make this negative because that's not how I mean it, but I think that's one of the things that I find the most frustrating in what we do is the defeat that people feel. I find that so frustrating because we don't have to live defeated, and it doesn't matter how many times you failed. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen down. You have to get up and do it again.
Yeah. Just do it again. Do it again. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, Nike's slogan, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we're living proof that it's possible. Lots of you are living proof that it's possible. So stop telling yourself that it's impossible.
And tell yourself that it is possible if you have the faith of a mustard seed. We talked about the mustard seed, and it's so true. The mustard seed is so little, and we only need the faith of a mustard seed, and we can move mountains. So yes, you can do this.
Yeah. And that defeatist mindset that we get ourselves into, that we can't do it. And we've talked before about like making assumptions about other people and looking at other people and thinking, oh, it's so easy for them. And like, I do that too, right? I think we all do that in areas where we're struggling. It's like, well, it's easy for them because they have this or they have that, or they don't have this or they don't have that, right? And it's easy on a weight loss journey to look at somebody else and say, well, they have a supportive spouse and I don't, and they have more money than I do, so they can like buy all the convenience foods, and they blah, 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 blah. And it's so much easier for everybody else. It's not easy for anybody.
No.
Get that out of your head right now.
That's right, because you may be thinking, oh, it's easy for you, Ruth. You've always been little. No, I wasn't. And no, I'm always aware of what I put in my mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's become a habit. It's habitual for me to think about my choices.
Yeah.
So is it easy for me? No. I have learned to live this lifestyle. You can learn to live a healthy lifestyle. So let's stop with the excuses and start becoming aware of what we need to change.
Yeah.
What do you need to change? What do I need to change? What do you need to change? Yeah. I know that for me, I have to be aware of my water intake. It's very easy for me to drink coffee. Now, I drink black coffee, thank goodness. And I don't drink it past a certain time because it keeps me awake at night. I have to be aware of how it is in my body, just like you have to be aware of how it is in your body. Casey can't have caffeine after a certain time either. And so it's all these things that we have to become aware of. But because I'm holding this, I got to have a drink.
And the thing, I always need to be aware of not just snacking. You know, my kids eat a lot, like most kids. They are hungry. Yeah, they snack. Yeah, they don't eat a lot. No, they're like little birds. Anyways, so I have to be aware of like every time they need a snack, I don't need a snack, right? I'm not running around burning off energy like they are all day long. And so I have to be really aware of not just eating all day.
That's right.
So it's not easy for us
any
more than it is for you.
And just because Casey lost 150 pounds and she did it, or she lost 85 pounds and then 65 pounds, just because she did it twice doesn't mean it was easy for her.
No.
It's very difficult for her. She wants to have the burgers and fries. She wants to go through the drive-through and have the caramel macchiatos or whatever it is. That's your vice. We all want that because that's what society is telling us to have.
Yeah. But we have to say no sometimes, right? We have to be disciplined enough to say, no, thank you, not today.
That's right. When you go to church, when you go to Bible study, and they have all those plates full of cookies and everybody's indulging, you don't have to. It's a choice that we have to make.
Yeah. It's
very easy when everyone else is to say, oh, well, everyone else is, so I can too. No, maybe they're not on a weight loss journey. So maybe they're not in that space right now where they're trying to treat their body like a temple, but you are. So we have to feel uncomfortable sometimes and just say no. We have to have that discipline. And we can't do it on our own strength. That's why we say we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Yeah. We have to start our day with prayer. So right now, did you surrender your day today? Did you open your eyes still laying in bed and go, God, please help me today to make the right choices? Because I know I did, and I was praying for you. And so did you do that today? Did you start your day by surrendering your journey to the Lord? Put in the comments. Did you do it? And if not,
it's not too late.
Stop right now and do it. I like to say take two. Take 2 minutes with God. You know, in our busyness, maybe you took a half an hour and good for you. Maybe you took an hour. Great. But take 2.
Yeah, I took 5 this morning.
Well, that's good.
I've been reading through Matthew lately, and man, some of those parables are strange. And they're hard to understand. Yeah.
And my husband and I are watching a series of Revelation, and it's just so intriguing. We're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
But take some time is the whole point. Become aware whether you're doing that. Are you starting your day with God? Because if you're not, it's going to be a whole lot more difficult.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So let us know in the chat.
Way to go, Terry. And
Oh.
Joan finally caught on how to chat. Woohoo! You know what else I was actually thinking? There's been quite a few comments about happy dances.
Oh dear.
So you are going to have to do some happy dancing in this 10-day challenge.
I will. I might not do it on YouTube. I might do it in the Facebook group.
I won't be spinning. I've been having some very bad vertigo in the last little while, and I won't spin.
Yeah.
But
in fact, you need to go to the chiro, which she does have an appointment to go there. But yeah, vertigo is not a good thing.
No.
So she has to be aware of what she's doing for movement right now too.
Yeah.
But okay, you surrendered your journey. Did you do some movement? And I know some of you are recovering from illness. One more thing. I need to just mention this is some people have asked where the tracker sheets are. And they're inside the 10-day WeighDown Plan. So if you go into the online course,
if you've purchased it,
if you've purchased it, then you see a menu on the left, and one of them, the first one is called About the Plan. Click on that tab, and then on the opposite side, the right side, scroll down, and you will find all the tracker sheets. They're right there for you. You click on the tab, and then you can print them off.
And if you want to buy the plan, the link is in the description.
Yeah.
10dayweighdown.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a great plan. So
I think we've answered those questions. And I know some of you didn't know how to chat. And so way to go, Joan. You're a real techie now. That's awesome.
New career path, Joan. And if you are having problems chatting, it's probably that you need to sign into a YouTube account. It won't let you comment unless you are signed into an account on YouTube. Like, you have to have a profile just like you do on Facebook or any of the other social media platforms.
But it's safe, just like Facebook. Like it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to talk about the ABCs today.
Yeah. And we have been talking about the A already.
Yeah, awareness, right? And so I think in the comments, tell us what aspect you really need to be aware of on your weight loss journey. Like, what area do you need to focus on so that you don't just mindlessly do it, right? Like Ruth said, she needs to be aware of drinking enough water and not drinking too much coffee. I need to be aware of not just like mindlessly putting food and snacks into my mouth when I'm feeding my kids. Yeah. So what do you really need to work on being aware of? Because I think the saying, you've probably heard us say it before, what gets measured gets managed, right? And so it's like with water, if you need to focus on water, then start tracking your water for the rest of the 10 days, right? What gets measured gets managed. Otherwise, it's like, well, I don't know, did I drink 1 water bottle today or 15? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
because we need to be hydrated, and every organ in our body needs water. Now, you might say, well, I am hydrated, because one of the ways, and you probably know this, because one of the ways to know if your body is hydrated is by looking at your urine when you go to the washroom. Now, if it's dark, you're certainly dehydrated. If it's really clear, your body is probably hydrated. But when you're in weight loss mode, you need to be drinking more water than normal, because we want to flush everything out. It helps to flush out the fat, the toxic stuff.
Yeah, well, and not only that, like half the time when we think we're hungry, we're actually just thirsty. And drinking enough water, especially before your meals, sometimes can really help you to not overeat.
It really can. And so
track
your water.
Yeah, and tell us, like in the comments, like I said, what you need to be really aware of on this 10-day challenge, because what gets measured, I'm going to say what we are aware of gets managed, right? And when we just kind of choose to let it all just be willy-nilly, well then, like, you don't know, like me, if I don't manage and kind of focus and be aware of how many snacks I'm having in a day, at the end of the day, I'm like, I didn't really even eat anything today. And then I'm like, oh wait, I had this, and I didn't really even eat a meal, but I ate all day long and blah, blah, blah. And I don't even know what I ate, right? Yeah. So we have to be aware. Yeah. Okay, Miranda, I need to be aware of not giving into my sweet cravings.
Yeah, that's a really big one for a lot of people. And Miranda, you did the smoothie day. So probably today is going to be easier, because a smoothie day really does help us with our sweet cravings. It
Yeah.
really, really does.
And Joan needs more water. She's getting better.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Way to go, Joan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we often talk about water as like when we start. Oh, Josie, you figured out how to chat too. Awesome.
Nice. Could I give a sample of what I ate in a day for my weight loss? Yes, I can.
Yeah. But what was I just saying?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Forget. Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll go on this.
Water awareness.
Oh yeah, water awareness. We often use the example of plants or like flowers, because if you have a potted plant and it's really dry and you put water through it, it just all runs out. You know, it doesn't really get absorbed. It just all goes out the bottom. Well, when we start to drink a lot of water, that's what happens to us. We're in the bathroom a lot. It's just getting out. It's just coming out. But the more we continue to drink a lot of water, our body adjusts. Our bodies are uniquely created, wonderfully made. And so our bodies start to then absorb the water, and it doesn't run through us the same amount.
No.
It changes. Our bodies are flexible.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I want to say, like, I think if most of you knew how much I drank in a day, you would, like, flop over sideways because it's a lot. I drink a lot of, between water and coffee, and, like, I drink a lot.
Yeah, way more than the average person.
Yeah, and I don't think I go to the washroom any more than the average person. Like, my body's just so used to it. In fact, I probably go less. I don't know. But, like, I drink probably on average at least 200 ounces of water a day. And I drink coffee on top of that, and tea and
bubble tea. So here's
I don't weigh 400 pounds.
That's right. So here's the rule of thumb with water. You should be drinking half of your weight in ounces of water. So if you are 400 pounds, you divide it by 2 and it's 200, and you should drink 200 ounces.
Yeah.
Well, Casey's not 400 pounds and she still drinks 200 ounces.
Yeah.
So the more you drink in a weight loss program, the better off you are.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously don't drown yourself. I've been drinking water like that for 2 decades.
Yeah,
so
like you can't go from 100 ounces to 300 ounces in a day.
You can't go from 1 glass of water to 8 even. No. Like you have to work yourself up to it.
That's right.
But
it's the same. It's the same way with movement. If you're not used to moving your body, if you're not used to doing push-ups, you can't
drop into 100.
No, you just can't do it. In fact, I've been doing push-ups for a long time and I can't do 100. So you have to just build up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Josie, what would a day have looked like? So I followed our 10-day plan. So the plan is 3 meals and 2 snacks in a day. So a typical meal, I'll think about like actual recipes that I used quite often. We have one that's a breakfast oatmeal cake that I haven't actually made that for a very long time, but I used to when I was losing weight. I ate that quite often for breakfast.
And I just had it this week.
Yeah. So it's like a baked oatmeal, and then we put milk on it. Like I use cashew milk at my house. So then you put like milk on top of it. It's kind of like a hot cereal. It's really delicious. I sometimes would put nuts on top of it. For a snack in the morning, I would probably have like an apple with peanut butter, something like that. Lunch, I usually at my house have soup. I find that just an easy thing to have, to just heat up a bowl for lunch. So one of the favorites at my house is lentil soup. We eat that quite often. My girls both like that.
And that's one of our recipes in our plan.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good recipe.
Yeah. And I might make mine a little bit differently than like you would. I put potatoes in mine, which we wouldn't necessarily recommend if you're on weight loss mode, but for my kids, I add that, because they really like it that way and it fills them up a little bit more. Afternoon snack, I would probably have an energy ball or one of our granola bars that's in our recipe book. And then, one of the staples at my house that we eat quite often is like taco salad. So I would probably have something like that for dinner. And then I would be drinking... Okay,
I'm just going to add your taco salad. Doesn't mean that she's adding a ton of cheese. She doesn't eat sour cream. It's a healthy taco salad.
Yeah.
It's not loaded with...
Yeah, it's a homemade one that, like, it's ground beef with beans, lettuce, and a little bit of cheese, other veggies, and I love salsa. And
maybe some guacamole with avocado, freshly made from her.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what a typical day would look like. Obviously, I didn't eat those meals every day, like some of the other meals that.
One that we ate a lot while we were in this mode together is the chicken curry recipe.
Oh yeah, I haven't made that for a long time either.
Because it's just delicious.
Yeah, or the Buddha bowls.
Yeah, the Buddha bowls.
Because that one feels more filling.
Yeah. And the Buddha bowl has some sweet potato on it, which is the carb.
And rice.
Yeah, a little bit of brown rice.
Yeah.
So we recommend...
With a peanut sauce. It's so good.
Yeah. So we recommend, Josie, foods that are low glycemic. Because I don't believe you have our plan. So I'm not sure about whether you do or not. But low glycemic foods. And you have to do some research if you want to go that route. Because it's a big difference to how it is working in your body for you.
Yeah. And also, like, we eat sprouted grain bread. So I sometimes would just have like a piece of toast, like a piece of sprouted grain toast in the morning with peanut butter. And the peanut butter is the natural stuff that doesn't have added sugar. Really, it's about the glycemic index, eating the low glycemic index foods and cutting your sugar. And then using portion control.
So sugar, let's talk about sugar. Just to become, this is all part of being aware, okay? Most people have like 100 grams of sugar.
The average in the States, so it's probably the same in Canada or very similar. The average is 125 to 130 grams of sugar a day that the average person is having.
Per day. It's
5 to 6 times how much we should be having.
So we should only be having between 25 and 30 grams of sugar per day. Now, are you going to do that on this challenge? Well, if you've been having 130 grams of sugar per day, you probably will have more than 25 grams of sugar per day on a challenge. Because it's very hard to go from that much to nothing. But if you cut it in half, you're doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because one Starbucks drink has like 70 grams of sugar. Like we've researched this stuff. So we know some people have 2 or 3 of those in a day.
I know. Actually, the worst one, I just watched a video. This is Canadian stats, but I just watched a video the other day that was about like the worst sugary drinks. And the worst one that they did was from McDonald's, and it's the iced chai frappe.
Oh my.
And I think it had over 100 grams of sugar in was it a medium? I don't remember exactly. It was wild.
Wow.
Like in one drink. And people don't even think about that as consuming sugar.
No, they don't even think of that.
They just think about that as their coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, scary stuff.
Yeah, we're not talking about those kind of smoothies.
No.
No.
Joan says, or Terry says she needs more exercise to be aware of.
That's good.
Joan, I'm proud of myself. I'm on glass 5 of my water already today.
Joan, that's
never
amazing.
drank 5 glasses in a whole day. In fact, I have never really drank 2 glasses in a whole day.
Joan, you're doing
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
Drink some water right now.
I actually remember the last time that we did like a live thing.
Wow.
And I told everybody they should try and keep up with me on the lives with drinking. Every time I have a drink, you had to have a drink.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
If you do that, you'll be drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, the tuna melt is another one. Way to go, Joan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that one too. But we also, Josie, have vegetarian dishes in our plan. And so you don't have to have those things. Like the lentil soup recipe is vegetarian. And
but Josie, aren't you eating mostly meat?
Yeah. The chicken curry, like you can make lentil curry. There's lots of recipes that you can just make vegetarian if you're on a budget.
Yeah. Or
if you don't want to eat meat.
Yeah. She's watching from Arizona. I'm jealous. I wish I was in Arizona right now.
Wow.
Is it warm? Because we're just starting to get a little bit warm here,
and
it's
like 17 degrees today.
That's like heaven on earth.
Yeah, today is a really good day here.
Yeah.
In fact, her kids are already playing outside.
But it was cold this morning.
Yeah.
So okay, we need to keep on keeping on with the ABCs. Belief.
So we talked about awareness. So belief. What do you believe? Do you believe that you can lose the weight, or do you doubt it?
Yeah, I think most of us have periods of doubt on a weight loss journey because it's slow, it's hard, it feels impossible. It's not impossible.
So one of the things I do to get rid of that disbelief or the doubt is I play songs. Like I play music that is upbeat and uplifting that talks about being an overcomer, like Overcomer by Mandisa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think like when we think about belief and when we think about self-talk, it's another thing that we have to become aware of, right? Like the awareness piece, we have to carry through everything.
Through everything, yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even know the things that we're saying to ourselves because they're just so like subliminal, right? They're so subconscious.
Or we make jokes about our weight.
Yeah.
And we do it sarcastically, or we want people to laugh about it so that, like, if we say it about ourselves, then it's no big deal, then it's okay to go and eat this. You know, we have to become aware of that self-talk because we do it in a crowd a lot. I know lots of people who make fun of their weight.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. And I think it's the easy thing to do to try and take the pain out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's sometimes easier to just make a joke about it than actually address how we feel about it. Thanks, Terry. Hope you have a great Saturday.
Yes. See ya.
And Josie says she lives in Show Low, Arizona. We get snow 4 hours north of Phoenix. Okay, well, then maybe I'll just stay here.
And we're glad this is helping you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so anyways, with the belief and the self-talk, like, it's like we said yesterday, we walk around saying things like, all things are possible, you know, I can do all things with Christ. So we've got to believe that that's true for our weight loss journey too. And learning how to change our self-talk, like, that takes practice. All of these things take practice. You can't expect yourself to just like instantly be good at it today because it takes work, right? It takes practice. And no matter how much we practice those things, no matter how much we like get better at it, it's always something that we have to be on guard about because the devil gets into our heads.
That's what I was going to say.
Right?
Because the devil is prowling around waiting to bring you down. Like,
Yeah.
he's waiting. He's prowling. That means he's ready to pounce. So as soon as you let your guard down, boom, there he is.
Yeah.
And those thoughts come rushing to your mind.
Yeah. Because like even when you are done losing the weight, you still have to be there. You still have to be working on your self-talk. And like, you know, the other day I was getting changed and I looked at myself in the mirror and I went, ugh. And then I thought, no, come on, Casey. Like you can't be like that, right? Because A, I have small kids who are watching me.
That's right.
And B, like, so what if I have some cellulite? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And it's the same for me. I can look in the mirror and, you know, I might not have weight to lose, but I have cellulite and I exercise. And so I'm doing what I can to be healthy. And so I have to look at that and go, well, I'm doing everything I can. Maybe there's things I can do better today. But I'm happy with how I am. I'm happy how God made me. And we have to just start reversing those negative thoughts and say something positive. Like, you know, I am healthy. My legs take me for walks every day. So if I have a bit of cellulite, big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just focus on all of these little things that like, really what difference does it make?
That's
why
right.
why does it matter if we have a little bit of cellulite? I mean, I know we want to look a certain way and it's good to want to be healthy, but
almost every woman on the planet has some cellulite. And if not, well, maybe they've done something that we're not going to do.
yeah. And you know what? They've got other things that they don't like about themselves.
That's right.
And so, yeah. Anyways, and I was just thinking actually the other day, I bought new bathing suits for my kids. They were on sale at Costco. And then I was like, well, I probably need a new bathing suit. Like we're going to the lake for a week this summer. And then I was like, ugh, I don't want to go bathing suit shopping because, but then it's like, honestly, get over, like to myself, I was like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, who cares if I have some cellulite and
nobody's looking at you and saying, oh, Casey has cellulite.
Yeah. And if they are, that's a reflection on them because
right.
they're insecure about themselves, right? Because like I've done it. I've gone to the beach and looked at somebody else and then it's like, Casey, don't worry about them. Worry about you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a reflection on me then, not on
That's
them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Our belief system on ourselves really matters. We have to have the armor of God on all the time, like every day.
Yeah.
We have to, I always like to say, hold up my shield. In fact, I even do a visual where I like zip up my shield because then I know it's on.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be on guard.
Because we need to talk for a minute about the fact, like, what happens when we let that self-talk take us down is that we stop living the purpose that God has for us because we're too worried about, like, we're too self-conscious, we're too in our own heads, right? Like, we don't show up for ourselves or for other people then because all we're thinking about is, like, we want to shrink back and disappear.
That's right.
And that's not using your gifts. That's not using what God's given you. That's shrinking back in fear and insecurity. And that's because, like, the devil is working to keep you under his thumb.
Yeah. So how can we avoid that? You know, Casey and I talk a lot about taking our thoughts captive, but that is what we need to do. When you take something captive, you take those thoughts and they're bound. Throw them in the garbage, like throw them away, or put them in a box and tape the box shut, you know, because we can't let those thoughts keep us down. So once we take the thought captive, we need to do the opposite. Think about things that are good and pure and lovely and noble.
Yeah. And so right now, if you can't say something nice about your physical appearance, then say something about a characteristic that you have that's good.
And have a drink.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go fill mine up again. Are you keeping up?
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Okay, so awareness, belief, we've got to believe that it's possible. We've got to stop with the negative self-talk. Think about some of the good things, like, what gifts did God give you? Focus on that, right? Because how does that one saying go? To the world, you're one person, but to one person, you're the world, or something like that, right? And what I mean by that is, like, you have the gifts that God gave only you. You are unique, and God has a specific, like, use for the way he created you, right? He did it on purpose. And so one person out there might need exactly who you are to show up today to who knows what, to change their life in maybe a little way, like buying somebody a coffee or smiling at somebody on the street when you drive past them. Like, we don't know how such a little thing can impact somebody, but when we're too busy worrying about how ugly we think we are, then we miss all of those opportunities.
Yeah. And here's the thing. No one can change your belief system except you. So
that's a good point.
God tells you to take your thoughts captive. He tells me to take my thoughts captive. Yeah. So that's what we have to start doing, is we have to start taking responsibility for our own belief system. So how can you do that? How can you change it up? Maybe you need to write down some affirmations or some declarations, like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, God made me and knit me together in my mother's womb. There are things that we can say to ourselves. Maybe you're a compassionate person, so you can say, I am a compassionate person and I care for others. There are things we can say that can help us build on our belief system. I can do all things through Christ. I can. It's not I maybe can. I can do all things.
Yeah.
So we need to help ourselves. So if you need an affirmation, write it down. Like we like to say, have a word. Like today's word, we're going to talk about that too, is committed. Are you committed? I am committed to the 10-day challenge. I am going to walk the talk. I am going to see this race run well. We need to just say things that are positive in our mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So it all helps our belief system.
It really does. We've got to be aware. We've got to change our belief system. Because with that, I just want to say one more thing about that. You know, we've talked before about how our thoughts create our feelings, which create our actions, which produce our results. And that is so apparent, that whole like flow in a weight loss journey, right? Because if your thoughts are like, I can't do it, I'll never be able to lose the weight, then your feelings are like, I'm such a failure. I feel like I'm just going to go binge eat because I'm depressed and I'm down in the dumps. And then we do go binge eat, or we ditch it all or whatever. That's the action that we take then. And then our results are that we gain more weight rather than lose it, right? Versus if we change our thoughts, like it has to start with our thoughts. And that's why I think there's so much talk in the Bible about like what we're called to think about and taking our thoughts captive and renewing our minds, right? Because it starts there. And so if we change the thoughts, that's like changing the input, right? Then we can get a different output.
Absolutely.
And so we have to change the thoughts, because then if our thoughts become, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, well, then we feel hope, right? If we start
and
to
hope
believe
is
that.
so much, yeah.
Yeah, then we feel hope. And when we feel hope, then we're able to take the action of like making good choice and one good choice after the next. And then our results will follow, because we know that we will reap what we sow. And so the piece about that there that we have to remember is the consistency, and that's the C in the ABCs,
yeah.
right? And consistency is key.
Oh, I love what you said, Josie. She's a school counselor and she affirms children all day long. They need that too, Josie.
Oh, man.
So
Do
wow,
they ever.
That's amazing. Yeah. And we need to hear it. Yeah, you need to affirm yourself as well. If you're not, like, we have to look to God for our affirmations or for our own self-worth, because he made us a child of the King. We're daughters of the King.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not some meek and like low-lay ant on the ground. No, we're daughters of the King. So we need to treat ourselves like that, with respect and dignity and integrity. And we need to walk our talk. And so, wow, we could go on and on about that. But I'm so glad that you're affirming children. They so need it today.
Oh man, do they ever. Yeah.
So consistency. I'm going to read a verse right now, which is our verse for today, which is 1 Corinthians 9. It's 2 verses, 24 and 25. And here's what it says. Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. So we have to be consistent in our race. This 10-day challenge is like a race. We have to keep on running. Maybe you're going to be walking, but you're not going to quit. You're going to, even at the end of the race, we're going to still be going forward. We're not backing up.
Exactly. We have to be consistent. Consistent, you will notice, is not synonymous with perfect.
No.
They are very different terms.
That's right.
And they have very different meanings. And so we are talking about consistency, not perfection. And I think the pursuit of perfection keeps us from consistency, because, like, again, consistency doesn't mean we have to do it all right. If we mess it up, that doesn't mean that we haven't been consistent. That means we have to make the next decision count. Because it's like your example of the blocks before. If you take one block off, you've still been consistent in building the entire tower.
That's right.
It's when you ditch it all and throw the whole tower away and start making terrible decisions from here on out, that's when the consistency goes the other way, right?
That's right.
Because what we've often talked about is, like, so many women tell us that they're not consistent. But we're going to tell you, you are consistent. You might just be consistent about the wrong things.
You might be consistent in buying processed junk. You might be consistent in eating your emotions, going to the junk food cupboard every time you have a negative thought about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you might be consistent about ditching the healthy lifestyle. We are consistent.
Yeah. So you are consistent. So you got to ask yourself, what am I consistent about? Are you consistently not drinking enough water? Are you consistently making excuses why you're not going to move your body? Are you consistently doing the things you just said, buying the junk food, right? We are people of consistency. There's just no question about that. We just have to learn how to be consistent about the good things, about putting the good things in. So we have to be consistent, like with our self-talk. We have to be consistent about what we're choosing to consume as food and fuel. We have to be consistent about what we choose to buy at the grocery store. And
that's why we have to be aware.
Exactly.
If we're not aware, we just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If we want to lose weight, we have to become aware and change it up. Mm-hmm. Change those things that we're consistently doing that aren't helping us.
Yeah. So tell us in the comments right now, what is one thing you are consistent about? It can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But what is something you are consistent about? And we've already talked about, like, I am very consistent about drinking a lot of water. A day does not go by that I don't drink water.
Yeah. And I am very consistent about exercise. I move my body every day. Why? Because I feel so much better about myself and about my health when I move my body. I need to get out and get that exercise. And if I can't get out, well, there's great videos on YouTube to move your body, even if it's 10 minutes. Like there's YouTube videos, walking videos that are 10 minutes long,
Yeah.
15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, whatever time you have, it doesn't matter. Move your body.
Yeah. So ask yourself, Josie's consistent in drinking water. Way to go, Josie.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So ask yourself what you are currently consistent about, and then how do you need to tweak it so that you're moving yourself in the right direction for achieving your goals, right? Not veering off track from your goals.
That's right.
Because often we are consistent like in the anti-flow towards our goals, right? We want to go this way and we're consistent about things that take us this way.
That's what we talked about earlier. Paul says, why do we do the things that we don't want to do?
Yeah. Miranda is consistent about drinking water too. That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So our ABCs, awareness, belief, consistency, but we also need to add one more letter at the end, which is G. And so it's the ABCGs. And G is for
grace. We have to give ourselves grace because God has poured out his grace for us, and his grace is sufficient for us. It's sufficient. It's always sufficient. So if we have messed it up, let's just make the next decision count. Let's be aware and learn from our mishaps and get right back to building those blocks. Every good decision matters.
Yeah.
So let's give ourselves some grace. Maybe that means to actually stop and ask for forgiveness. Maybe we weren't consistent in the right things. Maybe we didn't treat our body like a temple. Maybe we overindulged. Maybe we didn't use self-control. And we need to ask for forgiveness for that, because those are things in the Bible that we're trying to follow Jesus's example on. And so those are things that are, like the Bible tells us, we need to build on the gifts and the fruit of the Spirit of self-control. Use moderation. It says, do not get drunk with wine. It's not sometimes it's okay to get drunk with wine. No, it doesn't say that. It says, do not get drunk with wine. So let's be consistent. And if we have overindulged in wine, let's get back to giving ourselves some grace, asking for forgiveness, and then moving forward and using moderation.
Yeah. So apply grace every day.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah.
We need grace every day in this 10-day challenge.
Yeah. John says, I'm consistent on making up excuses why not to stay with the program.
Yeah, it's easy to do that.
Very easy. Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to say it doesn't have to be this program. It has to be a healthy lifestyle that is going to help you.
Mm-hmm. And so much of that, I think, too, is like built around our self-talk, right? Because we're trying to force in our heads. Sometimes we end up in this zone of trying to force ourselves to do something that we don't really want to do. And then we like rebel against it because we don't want to do it. And so I think one of the things that has really helped me is shifting my thoughts from, I have to do this, I have to go on a diet, I have to lose the weight. Shifting from that to, I get to like live the life I want to live. And what life do I want to live? Well, I want to live at a healthy weight. So what does that mean? That means that I have to create a healthy lifestyle for myself. So changing from I have to lose weight to I get to create the life that I want to live. And these are the things that I want.
And those two words make all the difference. You don't have to. You're choosing to.
Yeah.
You get to.
So I don't know if that's helpful, Joan, but that is one thing that really helped me shift from like, oh, here I go again, I have to do this. Like, no, I don't have to. I can do, really, here's the thing. We can do whatever we want to do, right? You have the choice, just like I have the choice to live how I want to live, right? I can live like putting a whole bunch of junk in my body and eating whatever I want and consuming way too much sugar. I can choose that. Yeah. I have the ability to choose that. I also have the ability to choose to, make good, healthy decisions. And I know that I'm going to feel way better. I'm going to have a way better quality of life if I choose the good, healthy things. That still means once in a while, I go have the thing, right? Because that's part of what I want to choose in my life too, is moderation.
Yeah.
But
Moderation is key.
yeah, but shifting the thought process in my head really helped me a lot. So I hope that that will help you too.
Yeah.
Josie, I add a cinnamon stick to my water to also help with diabetes. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I should try that.
And Josie, I use cinnamon a lot in my, well, whatever, if I make muffins or like we have healthy cookie recipes or energy balls, we use cinnamon a lot too. And I add it to my breakfast oatmeal cake. I love cinnamon.
I put cinnamon on my coffee a lot, but I don't add it to my water, but I should try that.
Yeah,
It'll probably
cinnamon
be good.
stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so ABCs and add the letter G for applying grace. So it's awareness, belief, consistency. Let's run this challenge well.
I think we better wrap it up because
Yep.
we could talk for hours, but that probably would no. Let's not.
So have a great Saturday. Wow, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's the 16th. I'm quite sure. Yep. So, whoops. So, are you celebrating St. Patty's Day? If you do, make sure that you choose some healthy options.
You know what you should do? If you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, make yourself a spinach smoothie.
A
A green smoothie.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah.
Have something green tomorrow. Whether it's broccoli, spinach, cucumber, kale, whatever.
You don't have to
something
have green beer or like a shamrock shake. You can make something healthy that's green. There's lots of green foods out there.
Oh, that's right. So I think we're going to end.
Any questions? If you have any questions, put them in quickly. I guess we should have said that a minute ago because there's a lag. But yeah, thank you, Josie, and you too.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we coming live tomorrow? We haven't even talked about it. It's Sunday. Yeah. I will be at church at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll be at church too. So we will let you know in the Facebook community the time. Okay. So I think that's it for today.
I don't see any. If you have questions, get them ready for tomorrow, I guess.
And be accountable. Go to the Facebook group and be accountable. I know many of you were.
Yeah, we should actually remind you of your 4 steps that you have to take today, if we can remember them. Yeah. First one, first one, surrender.
Surrender the journey to God.
Second one, write it down.
Drink your water.
Third one, drink your water. Fourth one, move your body. So those are your 4 homework assignments today, okay?
Here's my pen. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we like to end these videos. How are we ending today?
Treat your body like a temple.
Not a trash can.
See you tomorrow.